Good morning, everyone. I'm Charlotte, and today I'd like to talk about my capstone topic, a mass timber assessment, market assessment of CLT fabricated from Red Pine, Ontario. As we know, mass timber as a sustainable material is gaining traction in the building industry, and regions like Europe and North America are leading the charge. In Europe, Norway completed an 18-story towers, which made of CLT and is now the most tallest timber building. And in the United States, a same tower reaches 25 stories, became the tallest mass timber hybrid building in the world. Europe is the leader and pioneer in the mass timber development, but Canada is not far behind. Canada's first plant was established by Nordic Structures in 2007, and Structureland started CLT production in British Columbia in 2010. And from this map, it shows that there are more than 200 planned and constructed a mass timber project in Ontario and Quebec. Based on the research of mass timber construction market, it shows that the value of Canada, the global mass timber market is $379 million in 2023. And if Canada increased the production capacity, the output might exceed $1.2 billion by 2030. And it's going to take 25% of the global mass timber market. So why we chose CLT? CLT is lightweighted, fire resistant, and offer thermal efficiency, reducing construction costs and time. And we also have the first performance-based CLT standard in North America and the handbook for building design provided by FP Innovations. CLT is also cost-effective, especially for buildings up to approximately 10 stories. So why we chose Red Pine as the limb stock? By 1920s, heavy logger happened to meet the timber demand, and by 1960s, extensive red pine plantations were established to restore the forest. And currently, there are approximately 88,000 hectares red pine plantations in Southern Ontario. And we're aiming to transit from low-value products like hydropoles to high-value products like CLT. And there are 4 objectives in my research. First is to identify willingness to adopt red pine CLT. The second is to investigate the current and prospective demand for red pine CLT in Ontario. The third one is to explore price, sensitivity, and willingness to engage in red pine CLT project. Finally, is to analyze the challenges, concerns, attitude, and influence of various industry segments with red pine CLT industry chain. I started with the survey design, and then the participants' contacts and informations were organized, and I distributed via email, and all the data collection happened online to streamline the accessibility and process. So let's focus on the design, the questionnaire design. There are 6 parts in my questionnaire. First is to gather the general information of respondents. The second is to investigate the target customer groups of Red Pine CLT. The section 3, section 4, and section 5 focus on the interest, projected demand, and availability, and the Red Pine CLT market growth. And the last part is about economic considerations and decision-making for Red Pine CLT. After data collection is the data analysis. which include quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. I use descriptive statistics to calculate the average score of each group and rank them. And it also helps with data visualization. And the main method is the logistic regression to identify significant predictor variables influencing the adoption of right-pine CLT. And the questionnaire includes 29 questions, but the core focuses on one is, would you adopt right-pine CLT if it were approved and available? And the question is scaled from 1 to 5, with 5 representing definitely and 1 meaning definitely not. And the logistic regression helped me explore the relationship between participants who chose definitely and other responses to all the questions in the survey. And I also use feature test and MCA to dive deeper into specific section, focusing on the small group questions. And I also use the qualitative analysis for open-ended feedback and comments. It includes word frequency analysis, sentiment analysis, and stakeholder analysis. I distributed about 300 questionnaires, but I only received 27 responses. So the sample size is 27, of which architects and engineers take the largest proportion of 32%. CLT manufacturers is about 20%, and there are only 1 from related association and 2 from government. To quantify the willingness of various stakeholder segments to adopt right-pine CLT, each respondent indicate their willingness on a scale from 1 to 5. And we can see that the average willingness score, a relative association, that they're show the most willingness on adoption, and the CLT manufacturer only have 68 score. And the pie chart shows that there's 36 respondents show definitely attitude on right-pine CLT adoption, and 52% of respondents shows probably, 2% for unsure, 8% for probably not, and no one chose definitely not. So this heat map visualize the result of binary logistic regression. So the right bar represent positive coefficient and blue bar represent the negative coefficient. So we can see that the respondent who perceived advanced technology as a key driver were far more likely to express definite willingness to adopt right-pine CLT, and the expectations on the right-pine CLT demand is of significant growth, and having accessing to regulatory and compliance guidance are also strong positive motivators. And the influencing factors, availability, and the lack of long-term attractiveness of right-pine CLT is the most significant negative factors. And this word cloud shows the result of word frequency analysis for challenges and concerns. And we can see that some respondents care about the potential challenges with underutilized species. That's because we don't have experience use the right-pine as a mass timber. And nowadays, many research focus on the commonly used species like SPF. So they worry about the limited commercial market for right-pine lumber. And also some respondents from CLT manufacturers is that red pine is a high resin content species, and it's hard to estimate the CLT manufacturing capacity. And this wood cloud shows the result of red pine CLT purchasing and usage support. So we can see that most respondents need more evidence-based information, the technical data and performance report to improve red pine have enough structural integrity, safety, and performance in long term. And also the supplier and distributors information, cost benefit analysis are also important information they need. The government bodies and associations shows more supportive than manufacturers. On one hand, government incentives and policy provision could help adoption. And respondents from government groups said that if red pine were approved, it could be a more attractive option for investors. On the other hand, manufacturers will worry about problems during production. And as I mentioned before, one respondent from manufacturer group said high resin issue. And environmentally, respondents acknowledged the ecological benefits of red pine. Promoting the sustainability benefits could position red pine CLT as a viable, eco-friendly alternative. However, achieving this requires coordinated support across the supply chain to ensure a consistent and sustainable supply of high-quality red pine. And the research limitations is on low responses rate. The responses rate is only 9%, and it's lack of experience of pilot project because we don't have experience use red pine CLT. So we can draw the conclusion that red pine CLT market shows strong potentials ranging from residential buildings, commercial buildings to public sectors, and there still exists limited use on industrial building and institutional building. But most respondents showed the strong support, and the key drivers include availability, support local economy, and market growth projections. For the economic viabilities, some respondents show that cost concerns, like delivered cost of red pine versus SPF group, and one of future research direction is increasing the long-term attractiveness of red pine CLT. And the challenges include the regulatory and technical parts like building code barriers, and we need to enhance the stability and sufficiency of red pine supply. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anne, could you start us off with the questions?
Yes, I would be happy to. Congratulations, Charlotte. That was a fantastic presentation. And we at the Mass Timber Institute are very excited about Charlotte's work. As she pointed out, Mass Timber is new in Canada. It's very newer in Ontario. We didn't have our first plant, Element 5, until 2020. And the industry, such as it is, nascent in Ontario, very much relies on white pine and hasn't given thought to any other species. And we have lots of red pine on private woodlots in Ontario. And the partner in this project is the Ontario Woodlot Association. So we're looking at ways of increasing the sustainability of forestry in Ontario, and especially helping private woodland owners with aging red pine stands so that they can produce some new forest management plans for these private lands. Anyway, Charlotte, what I wanted to ask you was, given the importance of your work, it's the first time I've heard this kind of discussion about red pine in Ontario. What would you do? What would you recommend for a follow-up study, whether you were doing it or someone else? Can you suggest 2 or 3 topics or directions that you would recommend for following up on the work that you have started with your capstone?
Okay, let's back to these pages. Yes, so I think the future study direction should focus on, like, first technical data and performance report, and like we need to show the result of, like, bending test, compression test, and adhesive properties of red pine CLT, because it's the most important part to support the promotion of red pine CLT. And the second is cost benefit analysis, because we are aiming to transit this low value product to high value product. So we want to say, like, how much times could added on this product, and how about this long-term returns of red pine CLT? Yes, I think that's the 2 most important part.
Thank you very much, Charlotte.
Okay, my turn, Charlotte. Thank you very much for this impressive and very comprehensive analysis of the market. I know it was not easy. First of all, there is no primary data about the CLT market, and you needed to develop this sophisticated survey to ask the players in the market what they think about this CLT from red pine. As you yourself are showing, and you have communicated very well, I think being you, Alex, who was doing the mass timber project 2 years ago, he called it chicken and egg problem, because the issue is that if you ask the manufacturers why they do not produce CLT or mass timber in general a lot, they say that, okay, we don't know if there is a demand and enough demand and with good market. And if we ask the developers and builders why you are not using mass timber so much and many projects, they say, we are not sure there is enough supply of mass timber in Ontario. So somebody needs to intervene here and then bring these 2 folks together to show that they can work. And a lot of these questions or these concerns are a sort that we can deal with, like developing, as you said, tests and lab results about their performance and technical data is not that challenging. Tony just left, and he's already doing in the lab some of these tests for us for the red pine project. So we have even competences at Daniels about this. And the other parts about the market, as I said, is chicken and egg problem. So CLT and mass timber projects are approaching. And I think one of the maybe ideas to promote this is to showcase projects that is already applicable, that red pine CLT can work. And 1 month ago, when I was in the Wood Summit in George Brown College, the NLT manufacturers in Simcoe County, they are using CLT from red pine for museum construction. They want to build a new museum in that county with red pine CLT. And that is a good pilot project to show that CLT can work. But I think we should not overestimate also the performance of the CLT from red pine. Red pine may not have the same quality as a white pine or silver fir or SPF in general. So Anne was asking you, what are the other projects or take on for the next steps? Do you think making specific recommendations where and where not CLT from red pine can work better is another approach to promote application in the industry, especially considering the fact that we have good sustainable supply in Southern Ontario, and we may be able to produce that cheaper.
Uh, could you please explain more about your
Maybe it
question?
was too complicated and too long. So, I think one of the proposals I may have for continuing this kind of project is that to show where CLT from red pine can work and where it cannot work. Because
Oh, yes. Yes, in section 2, actually, I explored the targeted customer group, or how to say it, the building type for red pine CLT. And in the conclusion part, I said that the residential building, commercial building, and public sector like library and museum, you have mentioned that NLT project, and I think it could be the main field of red pine CLT usage, but in I didn't put that table on the appendix, but in the open-ended feedback, some respondents mentioned that it could be used in federal government project, but I don't know what it's exactly about, but it could be potential usage for red pine CLT. But I believe the common use is on residential building and commercial building.
exactly, thank you. This was exactly the answer that I was searching for, to have a specific application for the red pine seal. Thank you.
Okay, Sally.
Nice presentation. So I have a question for you. So sometimes when you, this is a relatively new market for CLT. And if we suggest putting in, and I'm going to call it an inferior product, being the red pine CLT, because right now it is inferior to the best of our knowledge. Is that not potentially dangerous to the whole industry? Because sometimes people aren't as knowledgeable about products and could end up using red pine as opposed to SPF for use. So do you think it's a good idea to introduce a new product into this marketplace at this time?
Yes. First of all, we have plenty of mature red pine in Ontario, and it's the local species. So if we adopt red pine as the lamstock of CLT, it could support local economic to some extent. So I think it's the most benefit things. And yes. So because for me personally, I think we don't need to worry about the availability of red pine volume because we have enough red pine volume, mature red pine, but and we could get some benefit from economic part, but we should worry about is quality, the CLT quality, because red pine have many like its special characteristics which different from SPF. That's why it's grouped with SPF in different group. It's grouped in northern species in Canadian standards, which is different with the American stuff. standard. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, unless there are any other questions, sorry, I forgot. No, okay, all right, thank you.